We often think that listening to stay inspired is something in the modern world. Podcast, audiobooks, something we invented to keep up with a busy life. But inspiration, spoken aloud, that's not new at all. And I'm not going to talk about the muse today. In fact, one of the most beautiful examples of this comes from the 1800s inside cigar factories in Cuba. Back then, cigar rolling was careful, repetitive work, very meticulous. Hands moving all day, precision, absolute precision required, and very long hours. And instead of working in silence, the workers made a choice. They pulled their own money together, not the factory owners, and the workers themselves hired someone called a lector, a reader. Every morning, the lector read newspapers, world events, politics, ideas, and every afternoon, novels, great novels. Think The Count of Monte Cristo, Victor Hugo, Dickens, all while these meticulous hands worked and minds traveled. Ah, the imagination is amazing. These weren't idle listeners. These were working people who understood something profound. Silence doesn't make your work meaningful. Meaning makes work bearable, especially when it's so repetitive. Stories gave context to their lives, language to their struggle, imagination to their days. And once you understand that, Cuba itself, life itself, begins to make sense. I've been to Cuba, beautiful country. And when you walk its streets, the story doesn't feel like history. It feels like culture, because culture is what makes us human. If you arrive in Havana, the first thing you notice is not rush, it's rhythm. French influenced architecture rises around you. Spanish, tall ceilings, wide doorways, shuttered windows. The shutters are amazing, designed to invite light and air. Buildings not built, at the speed of light, but for endurance. And they've endured a lot over the years. They breathe. Courtyards open inward. Balconies look out onto life. Nothing is sealed off from the human experience. Inside these spaces, you see craftsmanship everywhere. Hand carved wooden furniture, solid, honest, things you take pride in. Tables that have held generations, chairs worn smooth not by fashion, but by use. When replacement isn't easy, care becomes a value. Things are repaired, maintained, respected very lovingly. And that respect shows not just in objects, but in people. They treasure, they treasure their lives. But then you go outside and the piazzas, large, open, public squares that invite gathering without agenda. Children play, elders sit and observe. Conversations unfold slowly. I was lucky enough to be there one day when there was this beautiful cotillion going on. Can you imagine? Just not even knowing these people, and you just wanted to cry because you were so happy for them as they celebrated a new chapter in their lives. These spaces are not about consumption, they're about connection. They remind you that flourishing was never meant to be private. And then from the rooftops and terraces, the city opens itself to you. Colors laid upon color. Yes, Cuba is very colorful. The sea never far away, the sky always present. These views don't impress, they orient you. They remind you that life is bigger than the moment you're in. And then there's the people. Oh, I think we need a huge reminder that we're humans and we're people and we deserve to live an inspired life. And that's what I felt from the people in Cuba. More than the buildings, more than the views in the tropics, it's the people. Kind, considerate, generous in ways that don't ask for recognition. There is pride here, pride in their heritage, but it's quiet pride. Not the pride of having more, but of knowing who you are. And then there's a moment I'll never forget. Oh, that was a really cool day. We had hired a driver to go to Havana because I'm sorry, I wasn't going to get lost in Cuba. And on the way back to our hotel, he said, "Do you want to stop at my mom's house? See, say hello?" We're like, "Oh, okay, why not?" We had just such an amazing day. We went to her home, and it was very unassuming on the outside. And then we walked through the door, and we were greeted with just such love and warmth and happiness. She was thrilled that we were there. And this was before cell phones. That's how long ago this was. And she was just so thrilled her son had brought us there to meet her, to see her lovely home. And we sat and we chatted and we absorbed the beauty of their food, their space, their way of being. Very, very different, very traditional, very homey. And you look around at the craftsmanship in the homes, the care, the hospitality offered without expectation. In that moment, Cuba stopped being a place we visited and something we felt. So you can see, hear, and feel why the tradition of their cigar making completely made sense. The cigar workers felt complete. Of course, they listened to the stories while they worked. What a fabulous way to live. And how lucky are we in this day and age to be able to put in earphones and listen to a podcast or a book being read as we whistle while we work, right? This is a culture that understands something essential. Life is not just about getting through the day, it's about how you inhabit it through stories, through space, through shared meals, through presence, and through pleasant surprises. We haven't lost our need for inspiration. We've just forgotten how old it is. To flourish is to listen, to notice, to gather. Be aware. Just be aware about an amazing world we're in, and do not allow anyone to destroy that for you. And sometimes, when you're invited into someone else's world, you leave feeling a little changed, a little more inspired. I'm Diane Planadin, and if you like the show, share it with somebody you know because we all deserve to flourish and we all deserve to live a more inspired life. I'm so glad you're listening. I'll see you soon.